Before we get started, I just wanted to give a shout out. Brad Lander is here, but he can't stay, so he wanted to give a little fist pump for May Day. We also have Yuling News office here, and she won't be able to join, but she is here in solidarity with us. I'm going to hand the mic over to News Guild of New York President Susan De Carava, who will be kicking us off. Is anybody here? All right. Hello, News Guild members, supporters, workers, people fighting for contracts. It's so good to see all of you out here today. And I just wanted to take a temperature because it's a little cold on this side of the street. But one thing we're really good at is warming things up. So what are we here for? We're here for a fight for what's right, to protect workers' rights across this great city of ours, especially in media and for editorial workers. Right here, where Condé Nast lives. We're bringing the fight to them. And we're here today to say, what do we want? We want a fair contract. And when do we want it? Now. I think we need to do that again. What do we want? A fair contract. And when do we want it? Now. All right. That's right. So I think we should start with some exciting news today. Many of you have already heard that last night Guild members at the New York Daily News won their election by 95%! 55 to 33! And that's why we're here. Because no matter what the bosses throw at us, as long as we fight, we win! What happens when we fight? We win! That's what we're here to do. We've got a lot of people here today to talk about the fights that we're having, the good fights, the necessary fights, the fights to keep our work honest and valued and seen, to give you all a voice in your office, on the street, in your workplace, in your newsroom, to celebrate all the work that all of you do for equity and inclusion, for fair wages, for standards in every workplace. That's why we're here. We're outside One World Trade Center to protest bad media bosses. You can boo. Yeah. And so we came back. We were here a few weeks ago, and we're back again with more friends, more supporters, more colleagues, more workers to raise an even louder voice to demand that our concerns are heard and that we are willing to do whatever it takes to get a fair contract. The workers at Pitchfork, at New Yorker, at ours union have had enough of bad faith bargaining and hypocrisy. We're here today to tell Condé Nast, to tell David Remnick that with a 98% strike authorization vote, we're done with their lies. We're done with their lip service to values that they don't put into place. We are done with their bad faith bargaining, and we're here to demand better for ourselves and for our colleagues. That's what unions do, and the boss can never do it because they don't care like you care. And that's why we're here. That's why we're a union. Condé wants its workers, the people that make the magazines, that make the websites, that create the content and the videos, that edit the crossword puzzles and the cartoons, that make those gorgeous covers on the New Yorker. They want you all to feel like your work doesn't matter. And you know how it does? You know how it does? Because they fight so hard against every single thing you demand. And we don't have to demand in the wind and in the sun that we are worth more, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. It's hard to go on strike. We know that. There's been a lot of intense preparation for that, and we're really hoping that Condé finally hears how serious take it lying down. Just like Times Tech Union isn't taking it lying down. We are not done. Our fight is not over, and we won't let the media bosses tell us what our union is about. We decide what our union is about. We set the terms about what we need. And so when we say we do whatever it takes, that includes the possibility of a strike. And we know that it's a real sacrifice to do that, but it's the steps that you all are willing to take to make sure you get a contract that you deserve, that you don't accept the crumbs from the Condé Nast table or the New York Times table. Because frankly, it's not up to them. It's not up to my phone either. So, thank you. Mutual Aid Society. That's what unions are about. We support each other. Something falls, someone has to pick you up and says, let's keep going. We're going to march on. So, here today, we're here telling Condé at their headquarters that our eyes are on them. We're also here today, though, to tell the New York Times, whose headquarters are uptown, but also still filled with bad media bosses, let's vote for them too, that we're not going to take their refusal to recognize our democratic process, the Times Tech Union, and not voluntarily recognize that group. We're not here to accept that lying down. Our folks are here to fight that good fight too, because all of these fights are interconnected. All of us together make a difference, and together we can push for everything that we think is important to do. And we may not win every fight, and we know the fights ahead are going to be hard. Striking is not easy. It's a huge sacrifice, but it's one that you're willing to make because unlike the company who only believes in dollars, you all believe in yourselves. You believe in each other, and you know the value of your work. And our job is to make sure that the company is forced to pay for the value of your work. And that's why we're here today. Whether it's the Times, whether it's Condé Nast, whether it's Amazon, wherever these bosses are, we're here to say as workers, we know our value. We're going to do whatever it takes to get it. And when we fight, one more time, when we fight, all right, let's give a round of applause. So next up, I'm going to bring up Natalie. Natalie, where are you? Natalie Mead? Yay! Natalie is our unit chair from the New Yorker, and she's here to tell you a little bit more about their fight.
Hey, everybody! Hey! How's everybody doing this morning? Can you hear me okay? All right, let's get this started. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Natalie Mead. I'm a fact checker and unit chair of the New Yorker Union. Thank you to the News Guild and CWA for all of your support over the years. We wouldn't be here without you. And thank to all of you for coming and supporting us during this May Day rally. Today is International Workers' Day. And today we're here to support the International Workers Movement and to energize the organized employees at Condé Nast. So that's the New Yorker, Wired, Pitchfork, and Technica. So negotiations for the New Yorker's first collective bargaining agreement started in 2018. At the behest of our members, we've been fighting for measurable improvements to our working conditions. Yet our bosses, that's David Remnick, Roger Lynch, and the rest of the Condé Nast executive leadership team, have tried to exhaust our union by proposing the status quo and stalling negotiations. And that's when you boo. You already know that it's no big secret the New Yorker Union is not interested in the status quo. The New Yorker Union demands fair and living wages, compensation for overtime, and we demand that our bosses treat us with dignity and respect, and that's the same dignity and respect that they extend to the journalism that they publish. The New Yorker Union is no longer interested in the status quo. You heard Susan say it. 1 month ago, our union voted to authorize a strike. And we have been polite and we have been patient. But politeness and patience has not moved negotiations forward. We will continue to apply pressure until Condé Nast realizes that it's in their best interest to respect their employees. Because without us, there would be no New Yorker, there would be no Pitchfork, there would be no Omer, there would be no there would be no New York Times, right? There would be no New York Magazine. They need us. The New Yorker Union and all of these unions are no longer interested in the status quo. We demand better. Let's see, lost my place. Oh yes, this part. We will all win a strong CWA by any means necessary. That includes a strike, because we are prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice for the betterment of our magazine. What's happening at the New Yorker is not unique. We are an ordinary workplace that produces extraordinary content. But we are not exempt from the unfair labor practices that workers are subjected to in this very city, in this state, and across the world. And so today, you'll hear from workers at the News Guild, state and state politicians who support workers' rights. And I cannot wait to hear what they have to say. So, do you have the same lineup as before? Okay. So I can't wait to introduce the next speaker. Is it Halen Choi? Great. I can't wait to introduce Halen Choi, the political director of CWA District 1. Halen, it's so nice to meet you.
So great to meet you. Thank you. I have no childcare, so I brought my children because this is for the future. All right, what a beautiful day to celebrate May Day. May Day is all about building worker power. That's what we're doing today, right? We're building worker power. Yeah, so my name is Halen. I'm the political director for CWA District 1, and I am pissed. I am pissed because you guys have been fighting for a fair contract for years. That is unacceptable. That is outrageous. And you have fought hard to organize a union. Your employer thinks they're too precious to have a union, but you believed in the crazy idea that workers should have a say in the workplace. That's what a union is about, right? Because we're building worker power. So when I say union, you say power. Union! 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 All right, thank you. So, now your employer is stalling and stalling and stalling. They're trying to deny you a fair contract. That's the new strategy, right? You go through odds, against the odds. The law's not on your side, but you win your union, and then the employer figures out we don't have to give them a contract. The law doesn't force us to give you a contract. So we're just gonna stall and stall. We're gonna come out with bad ideas, bad proposals that you are forced to settle on, but we are not going to accept it. Are we gonna let that happen? We want a fair contract, right? So that's why we're here today. And CWA is proud to stand with you. We are going to fight until we win, because this is bigger than Condé Nast. You are setting standards in this media industry, right? And this is why this fight is so important, because no employer is too precious for a union, right? No workplace doesn't need a union. Every worker deserves a union. Your fight is beautiful. Your fight is amazing. We are so proud to stand with you, and we are going to fight until we win. Because the Union United will never be defeated. Say with me, the Union United will never be defeated. The Union United will never be defeated. Thank you so much. Right, I don't know who's next, but all right, good job, you guys.
All right, so next up, I'd like to introduce a gentleman who's been really important as we've developed our fight at Condé here. Some of you may have seen recently that Local 804 of the Teamsters issued a statement in solidarity and support of our striking workers at Condé. They have pledged that they will not cross the picket line, which means some people are not going to be getting some deliveries if we don't get a deal. I'd like like to introduce Chris Williamson. He's a VP of Local 804. He came here today from a protest they were having in Queens about their fight, where UPS fired 8 essential workers, including pregnant employees, bad bosses everywhere, boo. And we're very grateful for his local support and also the understanding that our fights are our fights. Whether you work in media or some other sector of the economy, together we know that only by acting collectively and concertedly and using our power can we change the system. Can we change how our workplaces operate? So without further ado, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
First of all, I want to say hi to all of my working brothers and sisters. One thing that we got to understand is unjust to one union is unjust to all. If not you today, it could be your local the next day. I'm vice president of Local 804. We're fighting a battle now where we had 10 workers that got fired because they refused to do OT because they had other jobs. 2 of them were pregnant. 1 was 8 months. How dare UPS, and I call them greedy corporate America, okay? We was essential workers when we had to keep New York running, just like the newspapers. Y'all was considered essential workers when they wanted to get the news out. But now these greedy corporate people don't want to share the pie. I say enough is enough. New York City is a union town. And if you want to do business here, you need to be right with the unions. These CEOs, they don't load trucks, they don't write magazines, they don't do the paperwork. All they do is reap the benefits from y'all, the hard-working man and woman out there. We need to tell the government, the governor and all of them too, enough is enough. Why do most of these people get bonuses at the end of the year and then come January talking about they gotta cut jobs? How about cut your bonuses? We got Jeff Bezos who's making so much money. Think about this. He got divorced, his wife took half his money, and he got all that back within a year. But he don't want to pay the Amazon money. Is that right? He needs to go too. For every corporate that's paying these CEOs so much money and giving them bonuses, did you ever think about the working men and women? The one that got to get up early in the morning, early at night to do the work? Because they're not doing the work. They're sitting in an AC office in the summertime, a heated office in the winter, while we do the work. Enough is enough. The war on the working people needs to stop. Corporate greed needs to stop. No CEO needs to get a $14 million bonus and then talking about he needs layoffs. We need to start calling these CEOs out, like I'm calling out UPS. She's a female. And I ask her, come to New York. Don't tell me what's going on in Atlanta. As a female, how do you accept UPS firing 2 pregnant women because they didn't want to do OT? Or a father who had a special need child, he had to go home so his wife can go to another job because you won't give him a full-time job. We need to start paying these members the money that they deserve. In New York, $15 is not enough. It was a start, but it's not enough. They need to come out their pockets and help us get a piece of that pie. See, when I go to the table, I'm not begging no more. I'm coming with a knife and a fork, and I want to eat too. I am tired of corporate America wanting everything. Without y'all, the hardworking people, they won't get those millions of dollars. So we stand together. We're going to support y'all. You need help, give me a call. I got a bad ankle right now, but I will hop on down to help y'all out. An injury to one local is an injury to all. So we all need to stick together. This is a secret though. If every local come together, we can shut them down. If every local participate and back one another, we can shut them down. Let's start coming together and let's shut them down. God bless.
All right, well, I think that sets us up very well for our next speaker. We've got Quinn Moreland, who's on the bargaining committee from Pitchfork. Quinn, where are you? Yay! Quinn's regularly at the table where we shut him down. Shut him down.
I feel like in a mask you can't see. Like the perspective is very off, so I'm a little thrown off. Can you hear me? Okay. Cool, yeah, like Susan said, my name is Quinn Moreland. I'm a staff writer at Pitchfork, and I'm on the bargaining committee. And thank you guys for coming here today and standing out in the, well, not quite the sun, but in the wind and cold with us. Yeah, so we're negotiating our first contracts with the News Guild, and it's been a long process. I've worked at Pitchfork for 5 years, beginning as an editorial fellow. I was hired a few months after I graduated college, and it was my first job. And one of the first things I learned about Pitchfork was how deeply the staff was to the site. Never hesitating to work overtime, never hesitating to work on the weekends. The staff just works and goes above and beyond. But one of the other things I learned very quickly was that Condé Nast and Pitchfork management never seemed to return that dedication. Despite our growth and successes as a publication, there were no real investments back into the staff. Over the years, I've watched colleagues leave Pitchfork because they were never given proper raises, because there was no potential for growth, because of a systemic lack of work-life boundaries. It was disrespectful and something needed to change. Before we unionized, I felt powerless at my job. Through the process of uniting the staff with the mission of building Pitchfork into a sustainable workplace, I finally felt empowered. But not the wind is a contender right now. Okay. Alongside the New Yorker and ours, we fought for higher salary floors, general wage increases, fair compensation for our labor, real continual commitment to diversity and inclusion, an end to NDAs, and just cause, no exceptions. And not an end to just cause. We fought for just cause, to be clear. I'm deeply heartened by everything we've done, but I'm also really moved and excited by the activities of all the other media unions in the city and across the country. It seems like there's a new one every week, which is insane. And yeah, I feel like for the first time I have a little bit of hope for the future of media. But also, like, none of this would be possible without the News Guild organizers and mobilizers and representatives who literally work. Like when the New Yorker was fighting for Just Cause, they worked over, like, literally around the clock to help win that fight. And so yeah, this May Day, I'm celebrating all of our collective actions, our hard-won wins, and all the ones to come. Thank you so much. I don't know who's next. And no one's coming up here to reclaim the mic. Susan, you're leaving me hanging up here.
Not for long, I got you. Okay. Next up, we have some speakers from the New York Tech Times Guild. Yay! We've got Goran and Shay here to tell us more about their fight and how we can help support them. Who wants the first? All right. Oh.
That's exciting. We are the tech workers of the New York Times, and we love our journalists! Woo! There are countless tech companies out there, but we work at the Times because we believe in its mission. We believe in making best-in-class platforms that so that our journalists can reach as many people as possible, and we believe that we deserve the same protections our colleagues in the newsroom have had for the past 80 years. Woo! So far, management doesn't seem to agree that we do. The protections that our movement to unionize strive for are fair and equitable pay, job security, a say in our health care, a workplace that reflects the diverse society that we live in, and we can achieve these protections if we get a seat at the table. And guess what? So far, management hasn't offered us that seat because they say it's only fair if we hold an election for it instead of recognizing us. Well, if they want us to vote, we're ready to show them how many of us have already voted for a seat at that table. We are ready for the Times to count our cards that our fellow workers have already signed and see that the tech workers have spoken. We are ready for the Tech Guild to be recognized.
Sadly, like Goran said, the company would rather stall and delay by forcing an NLRB vote. They think they'll be able to dissuade us with captive audience meetings, promises, and shiny benefits that will always fall short because they weren't decided on by us. The things we'll get, we will only get with the union. So tell me, is this something we can only get with the union? Will we have a seat at the table? Will we have protections and layoffs? Will we have just cause protections? Will we have shop stewards? Can we access data? Can we vote on our working conditions? Can we collectively bargain? Can we hold management accountable? Will we have democracy in our workplace? There is nothing they can say or do during this months-long delay that will change our minds. They are only creating bad will, but there's still a chance for them to reverse course. So, Councilmember Brad Lander has agreed to conduct a neutral part count and confirm that we have the votes. Then it'll be up to management to respect our votes. Let's ask them. Respect our votes! Respect our votes! Respect our votes! Respect our votes! So, yes. Gotta learn how to stop the chant at the end. I'm learning. So we want to say huge congratulations to the NPR digital workers. NPR did the right thing, respected the work of their workers and their journalism by voluntarily recognizing their union, and we're asking the Times to do the same thing. So, thank y'all. So inspired by all of you. Thank you, Shay and Goran. Let's hear it again for New York Times Tech Guild! And that's fine! All right. Next up, we have New York State Senator Jessica Ramos, who's here. She's also chair on the Labor Committee for New York State Senate, and she's here to pledge her support for our workers. Hi, good morning, everybody. Happy May Day. And it certainly is May Day at Condé Nast. What are they doing? Look, I admire you all taking this courageous stance to tell your employer how you should be treated is, I think, a very fundamental right of every single worker. Certainly here in New York, you saw me do it with the farm workers. There's a basic decency, a basic quality of life that every worker in New York City and New York State must be guaranteed every day. Every day. And look, I know you fact checkers have been very busy the past 4 years especially. I'm very thankful for all of the reporting and quality journalism that has come from this entire cohort of folks and beyond. It means a lot that your organization journalists to come after you, because without you, we don't really have a democracy. That's what you do. Thank you. Thank you for everything you do, and I'm here in solidarity with you today and every day. Let me know how I can help.
So I'm a pacer, so I need to like kind of be up on the little bit. My name's John Schloy. I am the international president of the News Guild. And I'm a vice president of the Communications Workers of America. And together, that means we have hundreds of thousands of workers standing with the workers that work at New Yorker, that work at Pitchfork, that work at ours, and that work at the New York Times Tech. And I started as a journalist, and I'm also a computer programmer, and I'm really into data, so shout out to data. And as a journalist, we have these ethical requirements, right, to be a good journalist. The first thing that we do is we seek truth and we report it. And Natalie is a fact checker, and she has been checking the facts at Condé. The second thing we do is we minimize harm. And when we talk about pay and equity, we talk about making sure that our colleagues are paid fairly, right? We've got to do that inside the shop. We've got to do that inside the organization. We have to minimize the harm caused by, not caused by us, it's caused by the bosses. We also have an obligation to hold powerful people and powerful organizations to account, right? And we're going to do that at Condé. We also have a necessity to be transparent and be independent from the BS that they are pushing on us. So I'm here to tell you that we have this moment, this amazing moment. I talked about it a month ago. In the last year we had 47 union campaigns. 47 union campaigns where workers stood up and they said, I want a union here. Do you know how many we won? How many the workers won? 47. That's 100%. Today on May 1st, in 2021, do you know how many campaigns we've had so far this year? We've had 14. Do you know how many we've won? The workers have won? 14, baby! The workers just joining at the New York Daily News. I mean, that's like a situation where when we were at the LA Times and we organized there, we were part of the Tribune Publishing Company, and we were the second or third newspaper to join the union to organize. And after that, the Chicago Tribune, the Allentown Morning Call, the Hartford Courant, the Orlando Sentinel, the Virginia Daily Press, so many organizations, and now the New York Daily News. There's only one paper left, baby. This week has been just like this wild moment of watching bosses just make mistakes. I don't know if you saw, but we also represent workers, more than 1,500 workers at Gannett, which is the largest newspaper publisher in the country. And on Tuesday, the journalists at Gannett released a pay equity study showing that women and people of color are vastly underpaid. Do you know how the boss responded? They attacked the workers. They attacked the journalists. Hell no, baby! Enough is enough. Say it with me. Enough is enough. We are leading a movement to organize every single journalist in this country. And y'all are part of that here today. We're going to organize every tech worker. And we're going to organize every media worker. And then we're going to organize every publishing house. And you know what we're going to do in this country? We're going to organize every worker in this country. Because who's got the power? What kind of power is that? Say it a little bit louder. Who's got the power? What kind of power? The deadline is fast approaching, and I said that a month ago. We're getting really close at Condé, y'all. We don't want to be here. Journalists, we do this because we love it. We feel like it's our mission. But we can't need prestige. We need to be paid fairly. We need to be able to live in the city. We need to be able to do our jobs and not be treated, not be forced to work overtime when you're 8 months pregnant. It's ridiculous. Who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? We're going to organize everyone. This moment, this is a change. This is a change in the country. And when bosses attack the workers, they're attacking democracy. We're not going to let that happen. Because who's got the power? What kind of power? Thank y'all.
All right, John Schloy, President of TNT. So one thing's really clear. Are union united? I don't think to get you up there. We're going to do that again. Are union divided? Our union united will never be divided. Our union united will never be divided. Our union united will never be divided. All right. So we've got up next, coming up, another worker from the New Yorker. She serves on our bargaining committee. She's one of the officers of our unit, and she is a wordsmith and a rebel rouser. Come on up, Hannah.
Hi, happy May Day. Can you hear me? I'm Hannah Eisenman. I'm the poetry coordinator of the New Yorker and the secretary of the New Yorker Union. I'm excited to celebrate worker solidarity with y'all. When the New Yorker Union formed in 2018, we did not foresee such a difficult road to a first contract. Our goals were clear and reasonable. Job security, livable, equitable wages, a safe, inclusive workplace. And we work for an institution that publicly champions progressive values. We invited workers to organize at companies like Amazon. But over the past 2.5 years, and for decades prior, the New Yorker and Condé Nast have denied their own employees the respect and remuneration that they claim to believe other workers deserve. The era of exploitation, hypocrisy, and corporate greed must end. Today, we gather to demonstrate that the future is here, now, and it cannot be stopped. Our members are ready to strike if that's what it takes to achieve a strong, fair contract. Management has had ample opportunity to do things the easy way. Instead, they have chosen to disrespect their employees and disregard our needs. And it is a choice. Our bosses wake up every day with a chance to set things right. Instead, they choose to ignore our ever louder calls for change. They choose to double down on the status quo, and they choose to delay progress. Bosses make these choices because they are afraid to relinquish control. Because they cannot imagine a world where workers have as much agency and dignity as executives. They think they can exhaust us, dilute our solidarity, and block our movement. They are wrong. We're united. We're energized. And together we will win. We've waited long enough. If management won't listen, we will make our voices heard. If they refuse to be persuaded of our labor's value, we will make them feel it. They will know what our work is worth when we lay down our tools and say no more to business as usual. We are not the first generation of New Yorker workers to demand better. Our efforts build on a project begun in the 1970s. Today, 50 years later, we are this close to realizing an enduring dream of the New Yorker as a place
place where workers can not only survive, but thrive. And this fight doesn't end with us. By raising standards at the New Yorker and Condé Nast, we raise standards in our industry and for workers everywhere. Those at the top will never cede their power willingly. So we must seize and mobilize our own collective power. And we have power. Who's got the power? What kind of power? I want to close with a short poem about the humanity and hope. This is by the 12-star poet Jose Dalton. It was translated from the Spanish by Jack Hirschman. It's called Like You. Like you, I love love. Like the sweet smell of things, the sky blue landscape of January days. And my blood boils up. I drop through eyes that have filled with months of tears. I believe the world is beautiful. And that bread is for everyone. And that my veins don't end in heat, but in the unanimous blood of those who struggle for life, love, little things, landscape, and bread. The poetry of everyone. Thank you.
Amazing. Anna is the poetry coordinator at the New Yorker, so that is a very appropriate ending. Okay, so this brings our speaker portion to a close. We are gonna go march up and then go turn left on Barclays and turn left on West and picket the shit out of Condé Nast and tell them what's up. A strike is coming and they need to know. So if you guys are able to join us, hold on to your signs. We'll start the march here in a couple of minutes. If you are not able to join us, just leave your signs over here in the corner and stay tuned for more. Thank you all.